If Edward was so good at playing the piano, why was it so hard for him to avoid crushing Bella's face? I did it! I pushed through. I finally finished Midnight Sun. Never has a book given me so much trouble when I didn't actually hate it. I actually kind of liked the book. I gave it 3 stars. Wasn't excellent, but it wasn't bad. If it was half as long, I would have given it a 4. It was so ridiculously long. Oh my god. There's so much fluff in here. And I don't mean like, ooh, cute romance fluff. I mean, why are you making me read this kind of fluff? I swear, I kept daydreaming during the love scenes because I was imagining better love scenes. Oh, this was a struggle. So this review is going to be more disjointed thoughts as opposed to like a coherent review, because let's be real, I read this very disjointedly. So let's get the elephant out of the room. Twilight vampires, they are 100% an ego power fantasy. That's just what it is. I mean, all the benefits of being a vampire, none of the downsides of being a vampire. If you have like 2 brain cells to rub together. I mean, the sparkly thing is the biggest issue. Because, you know, like the body glitter level of sparkling is a movie thing. It's not actually a book thing. Like in the book, they actually do look like they're on fire. Like it's not like, ooh, glitters. It's like, oh my god, you are on fire. Like that level of blinding. Still convinced that it will be solved with body paint. You cannot convince me otherwise. Anyway, I think at this point everyone knows what Twilight's about, so there's gonna be spoilers everywhere. And this book came out 4 months ago. Pretty sure my spoilers won't be the first spoilers you come across. So, my overall takeaways, mixing good and bad together. Bella Swan. Much more interesting in this book. She actually like had a personality and liked things and interacted with her friends at school and had interests outside of Edward. It was very nice. I like that. Now as for Edward, he is even more of an insufferable jerk than previously thought. But you know, since he's not a real person, it was very entertaining for me. If he was a real person, I would be so pissed. But he's fake, so fun. But even the way he gives compliments is condescending. It's amazing. Okay, here's my favorite quote. Where is it? Where's my favorite quote for him? I took so many notes. Here. What did I know of Bella's preferences? Maybe she liked average boys. I winced at that thought. I could never be an average boy. On the other hand, he also has a lot of thoughts that boil down to the Quileute are stupid. So that was fun. Link down below for their fundraiser. More on Edward though. The fact that he was 100% aware of how creepy he was being, while simultaneously refusing to stop being creepy, while also getting angry with Bella for tolerating how creepy he was, while also refusing to stop being creepy, was just the worst part of the book. Let me just say that. It was the worst part of the book. Let me take that back. That previous thing was not the worst part. This is the worst part. Edward has this very long flashback about how he saved a child from a creeper who was going to do not YouTube friendly things to this said child. Saves that child's life. And then, murders the guy. And like maybe like a chapter. I think it might have been in the same chapter. It was very soon afterwards. It was soon enough that I noticed. Soon after that, he makes a joke about Bella. The girl he's dating, the girl he's in love with, makes a joke about her being a child. It grossed me out so much. Why would you put those things so close together? Why? Why did you do that? You telling us something, Stephanie? Are you trying to tell us something? I got so creeped out I had to fix my hair. Let's leave Edward off on a different note, shall we? There's also another part in the book that totally stood out to me. He's watching Bella take food out of the refrigerator. She takes out a casserole. In his mind, he's like, oh, that's a casserole. And he, like, identifies all the smells and all the different spices, like tomato, thyme, blah, blah, blah. Identifies that food as Italian, but does not know what lasagna is. That broke me. I'm from New Jersey. That broke me. Moving on. Rosalie. Complicated thoughts on Rosalie. She is both completely insufferable and one-dimensional, but I don't want to hate her for it, because I feel like that's just how Stephanie writes women who are not wallflowers. Now think about it. We got Angela, Esme, Bella. They're all sold to us as like these quiet little girls, socially awkward, homebody kind of people. And everyone else, besides Alice and Renee, who have their own issues, everyone else, all the other women, are complete vindictive bitches. All of them. Every single last one of them. Maybe like Leah Clearwater's mother. Maybe. But did she even have any lines in the book? Oh, you know what? Maybe also Emily. But that's a sketchy situation there anyway. It's not good. It's really not good. But anyway, back to Rosalie. The fact that her go-to insults for Edward were, what was it? You pathetic no, wait. I gotta look. What did she call him? A pathetic cheating tool. She called him that. And then also a leprous swine. Just made my day. I love that so much. Although that is offset by the fact that one of her presents to Edward was a stolen engine. She stole an engine. Miss Millionaire. Stole an engine. They steal so much crap in this book. They steal so much in this book. It is ridiculous. They simultaneously throwing away so much money because they're gigantic millionaires. Alice even talks about investing in Netflix at some point. They're stealing crap. Like towards the end of the book, Edward steals this dude's car, and as he's about to steal it, he's looking at it like, oh my god, this is a beautiful car. Everything on this is custom. This guy must have spent so much money and poured so much love and hard work into making this beautiful machine. And then they destroy it on purpose. Screw that guy. It was hurting me. Before they even stole the car, I was like, please do not take this car. Don't do it. It's painful. And actually, even at one point, you know how Carlisle has that whole wall of like paintings? It's insinuated that one of those paintings he like saw through a castle window and just took it. That's kind of what it sounded like it happened. Moving on. Oh, who's next on my list? Who is next? Renee. We're talking about Renee now. I got complicated feelings about Renee too. So we get a little more insight into like how much of a crappy mother she was. And I feel like Stephanie Meyer kind of doubled down on that, but then also tried to make it better. Because she realized that it was bad. So in the end, it was like, yeah, you basically manipulated your daughter into parenting you and herself, and catering to your every whim, including uprooting her entire life and moving across the country. But it's okay, because you have magical powers that manipulates people into doing things that you want, and you're not aware of that. And I was just like, that's still really bad. It's true, by the way. She's got magical powers. Edward was like, man, she would make a really annoying vampire. Charlie also has like brain things. Like Charlie and Renee both have brain things going on, and that's what made Bella all brain weird. So the mother, super loud, super manipulative. Charlie, super quiet, super hard to understand, melded together in a complete blackout wall for Bella. Moving on to Stephanie. She's the next person on the list of people I wanted to talk about. She's actually not that bad at writing action scenes. Like, I have many issues with her writing in general. but action scenes were okay. I mean, I read all of them. Usually I skip past action scenes because it's like, whatever. I read every word of them. So that's gotta be good, right? High praise from me, the ADHD girl. Romance was not as crazy about. I mean, one thing she said straight up made me gag. I was like, ugh. And then like a whole bunch of other stuff I kind of don't get, but I think that's just because I'm asexual, so I kind of have to not count those. Maybe they are bad, but I feel like I don't have the qualification to determine whether they are bad or not. So, leaving that aside. Another thing about Stephanie, I don't think she knows where Philadelphia is. I can't say for sure, but I'm like 99% sure that she can't put it out on a map. My reasoning is because she lists all these cities and was like, Edward won't go further south, like when Edward ran away from Carlisle. He wouldn't go further south than those cities because the southern states were like a huge, gigantic mess. And he wouldn't go further east than those cities. And I was just like, Stephanie, Philadelphia is like an hour away from the ocean. The only thing separating it is one of the thinnest parts of New Jersey. You can't get much further east than Philadelphia. And Edward straight up ran and swam from Vancouver to Forks in like 3 hours. I mean, even if Carlisle was set up right at the edge of the ocean, like in Atlantic City on a boardwalk somewhere, even if he was there, that's still really close for you guys. Not 100% sure if it is true, but I feel like she doesn't know where Philadelphia is. Maybe she was thinking Pittsburgh. I would give her a pass if she was thinking Pittsburgh. Let's leave that topic. One thing I did forget in the many years since I read Twilight all the way through and like actually paid attention to certain scenes is that Edward's a creationist. Yeah, I totally forgot that. And I'm not bringing that up to be like, oh, creationist. I'm bringing that up because it's kind of interesting. Because it raises a question. It would make sense that all of the vampires were creationists. Because Carlisle, obviously, 1600s priest's son. And then the rest of them are from the kind of era where anti-evolution was like really picking up steam. So I'm like wondering, is this her doing her research properly? Or is it just her? You know what I mean? Like, is it her making era-appropriate people or her just putting her own worldview in there? And that's kind of interesting to think to me because, honestly, I kind of get the feeling that Mormons aren't as big on creationism as Christians, but I could be totally wrong. That was interesting from like a thought perspective. Also, still on Stephanie, we're still talking about Stephanie here. There were several times that Edward mentions that he can't read someone's thoughts because they haven't put their thoughts into words. And that kind of makes me realize or suspect that Stephanie Meyer does not know that there are large swaths of people out there who do not think in words. And that's not to say, that's not like disparaging her or anything, because I only recently found that out in like the past 5 years or so. But it's kind of funny now that I'm on the other side of that fence. I'm looking at this world and I'm like, Edward should have so many people he can't read at all. Like, Bella would not have been interesting to him. And we also know how Stephanie Meyer thinks. She's one of the word people. She's in our club. That was really mind-blowing when I found that out. I was like, you mean you don't think in complete sentences? What? How does your brain work? Is anyone else who maybe has gotten this far, does any of you people not think in words? It's kind of interesting to me. It's like so bizarre. Anyway, back to like the writing in general. This story, I feel like it had so much potential that was just lost. Because here we have this guy who's never needed social skills. He's just never needed them. He's never needed to communicate with people in a way to get to know them. He's never had to read body language. He's never had to do all these little things that everyone else has had to do, like develop a sense of empathy. He's never really had to do that. because he could just peer into people's brains and know everything about them. And it could have been the story about him having to take a crash course in all of that because he fell in love with Bella. And it could have been about him learning how to be a person who cared about people. It could have been that. Because, you know, it's fine. He started out the story thinking humans are boring and, like, dough-faced. I think he actually said dough-faced. Now I gotta check. Here we go. The human faces were so completely different from ours. Their dull, pitted skin, their poorly molded features, so rounded and lumpy, the mottled colors of their imperfect flesh. The clouded, roomy eyes must be nearly blind, I thought, if they could really believe they belonged to their worlds. What's that shit? That was the level of douche he started at. And unfortunately, that was the level of douche he kinda ended at. I mean, he made little strides I could feel. I feel like there was an attempt, but it failed. He tried to help Angela, but he only tried to help Angela because Angela was nice to Bella. And then there's all these points in the story where his communication skills with Bella are crap. And he's so frustrated about it. And she's so frustrated about it. And it could have been like this nice self-discovering journey about how to communicate properly, how to, you know, do all this interpersonal stuff, and it never happens. All the way through Breaking Dawn, this never happens. To the last freaking page, does not happen. He finally bridges that gap with Bella by being able to get into her head, finally. And what is that? That's nothing. That's zero character development. He does not improve. He stays the same. He keeps all the important bits in his head and then gets pissed off that Bella does not understand him. Like she's the mind reader. You are the mind reader, not her. What else can I say about this freaking book? Anyway, there's nothing else really that remarkable about it. I mean, we get more backstory about all the other vampires. I was neutral on Jasper, now I just don't like him. I kind of liked Alice, now she's just kind of confusing. She's very confusing to me. I kind of like her, I kind of hate her. Also, I think it'd be very, what's the word I'm looking for? Exhausting to be her. Like, she spends all of her time in the future, like looking at so many different things. And I could see how people would hate her. Maybe that's rude, but like, you're having a conversation with her and she already knows the whole conversation. It's like, you can't tell her anything. She's barely paying attention to you because she already heard everything you said. And it's like, also the fact that everyone kept on speaking to Edward in the brain and not actually like speaking drove me insane. I did not like that at all. I know I complained about this in a previous mini rant about this book, but oh my god, I really wish they would just talk to each other. Open your mouth, please. It's just so weird that they would say such long things. Like, he's talking to them and like they're just sitting there thinking at him. Rosalie did it the most. Rosalie, at least I can kind of see why Rosalie did it, because she was saying some nasty stuff. But everyone else did it too. And it's like, you're in the house of no secrets. Edward lives in your house. No one has any secrets from anyone. Just speak. Speak. God, no wonder. No wonder Edward has no communication skills. Emmett, I still like him, but he did take a bit of a dive from me in this book. Just for how willing he was to kill Bella. That was super... I mean, he's still one of the better Cullens, but it was kind of like, Carlisle? Carlisle. He is an idiot. Can I just say that? I mean, he's supposed to be a smart doctor, but he's really dumb. Is that mean to say? Also, I still don't get why he wasn't the one who tried to suck out the venom. Why wasn't he the one? Why didn't he do it? It's like, yeah, just leave your son, who throughout this entire book has been struggling with trying not to murder this girl by drinking all her blood. Let's have him drink her blood. part of me was like, maybe he didn't want to do it because he didn't want to drink human blood. Because, oh wait, now I thought of this. I just thought of this right now, and I'm like contradicting myself here. This is true. Well, this is true. He has never drunk human blood ever. Even though he turned all of those people, he never like drank anything. He just bit them and let go. So maybe he didn't think he could do it, or worse, he was willing to let her die instead of break his record. God, that was worse than what I originally thought was happening there. That might be it. That might be it. Oh my god. Okay, we're bumping Carlisle down another rung. Oh my god. Final thoughts. Esme is the only Cullen I like anymore. She's too good for the story. Someone please save her. Goodbye. I'll see you next week.